Time to glaze this window. It's already been back glazed, or whatever they call it. I forget now. Where he sticks glazing down before he put the glass down and put the points in. That looks pretty good. So what I'm using is Type M. And with this a little bit by a little bit. You're probably asking why I'm not using the bigger putty knife to scrape all this out, simply because you don't have as much control over that putty knife as you do with this 1-inch. So there we have it. I'm not going to mess with this anymore. This is all done by hand, so you're going to have imperfections in the putty. That's not really something you have to worry about. Yes, I'm wearing gloves because this putty sticks to everything. I mean, look at that. So when I'm trying to make clean lines on things, I can switch out gloves real quick, other than going out and trying to have to wash my hands. Using the Dawn dishwashing soap tends to do the best when you're washing your hands from this stuff, because it cuts the grease so quick. In fact, I use it to clean up. It'll take all the, if you don't have whiting, which is what typically you'd use as a ground up chalk, or even some people use gypsum, like drywall, like the powdered drywall, to get all the grease off. The Dawn does just as great of a job. And what I can do is, when this dries, which in here, for some reason my dining room is like the perfect place to dry things, because it dries pretty quick. I must have the right humidity and the right temperature in there all the time, because my glazing from the other window, it only took 2 days to harden that up enough to paint. We got our putty. Hopefully you can still see this. Let's turn it a little bit. You can see that. Definitely can see my cup here. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Since the only reason why I'm using the putty knife, besides it works well, see, I'm just keeping it on the back of the knife, and as I go down the window, I'm just making sure I have enough putty on it. Just like that. And again, here's my rough cut. So dip it in the water, get it in there somewhere. See, that one went a lot smoother. Just like that. Corners are a little different, so I'll get in there, smooth it out 2 ways, and then create the relief in the middle. And don't be afraid to stick your hands in here and kind of sculpt the clay. because this is basically what it is. It's clay. It's a putty. Now look in there, and sometimes you can see the other window or the other line you need to cut to. Like that. When you pick up the extra pieces, since it sticks to everything, you can just take your finger and just barely touch it and it'll stick to your finger. I'm not being too picky about that corner. It's on the 3rd floor, so it's not like it's going to show, but at the same time, they tend to be a little. And the cell phone videos I've been putting out, so see how I get in there. See what I mean? Works pretty good. Like that. So here's my knife again, or my putty knife. Just set it in there. So I'm going to need to add a little more down here. This is kind of a special place in here because there's a divot from something else that happened to the window at some point in its life. So let me get over here. Cut those. In most double hung windows, the bottom rail, the glass sits in this channel that comes across here. The way you feel that is you take a little bit of putty on the end of your knife and squeeze it in that joint. Technically, when you slay this window in, you're supposed to have a little bit of putty in there to seal it. And sometimes it doesn't get full all the way or it doesn't come out all the way. You'll see a little bit here on the corner, so you just kind of have to squeeze some in there. See it now. Yep. And then I can just and there we have it. So I'm happy with that. A few spots I gotta clean up, like up in here. Doesn't work one way, just go the other way. Not the best corner, but it'll work. You basically just don't want a 90-degree angle right here in the corner, because then the water will sit up in the corner of it and sit there and rot. But anyway, that's what you have. There you have it. I'll do a video on doing the pre-lay. It's kind of tricky, especially with this stuff, because it doesn't stick to anything. There's some pretty good requirements for when the best application for it, meaning it sticks better to some paint versus others, and they'll give you instructions on the can or bucket in my case. Anyway, I hope that helps someone out, and hopefully since I found this camera, we can do more of me showing you how to do things as I do them versus just telling you about it afterward. Alright, thanks for watching, and please rate, comment, and subscribe.